Okay, I wanted to do a quick video updating the current situation with the economy, and especially the situation with tax and payments for social care, because these things have changed recently. There's been a lot of coverage on it, but I want to put in a bit of economic perspective. Okay, so in October, we did a video talking about why Rishi Sunak is raising your taxes. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But basically, Rishi Sunak raised 2.5% on national insurance, which means an extra 2.5% tax taken off of everybody's wages. But not coincidentally, billionaires like Rishi Sunak's father-in-law's income. They raised 2.5% tax on ordinary workers, but it does not apply to income earned by billionaires. Now, the reason they raised those taxes is because they needed money to pay for elderly care. At the moment, there's a situation where people have to sell their homes to pay for their elderly care. People don't like this, the government wants to change it. So what have they done? How have they implemented this protection for elderly care? What they've done is they've basically said everybody has to pay the first £80,000 towards their social care, and above that, the government's going to cover the bill. If you have £1 million in assets, you have to use 8% of your assets. If you are an ordinary family and you've got assets of maybe 200 grand, or it might be less by the time you get very old, 150 grand, you are going to end up having to pay half of your assets away to pay for elderly care. So we have a situation here where the government has raised taxes 2.5% on ordinary workers, but not all on billionaires. And then they're using that money to completely protect almost all of the wealth of millionaires and billionaires. But poorer families will be forced to lose almost all of their assets, including their home. So we're in a situation here where the government is raising tax on ordinary workers, but not on the super rich, to protect the assets of the rich and the super rich, and not the assets of ordinary workers. And to put this in context, we're coming out of COVID, an economic crisis, in which ordinary people are seeing rises in their bills, their food costs, often financial hardship, and we have seen the biggest ever single year increase in billionaire wealth. 22% increase in billionaire wealth. The top 250 richest families in the country saw their wealth increase by over £106 billion, which is more than 10 times what is needed to pay for the annual cost of social care. So it's crazy what's happening. If you want to understand why the rich have gotten so rich during COVID, check out my first video on this channel, why the rich are getting rich from COVID-19. But the most important thing is understand what's happening here. We have a chancellor whose father-in-law is a billionaire, a prime minister who is a multimillionaire or will become multimillionaire as soon as he leaves office. They're raising taxes on workers, they're not taxing the super rich, and they're protecting the assets of the super rich, and they're not protecting the assets of workers. This is going to mean that wealth flows from ordinary people to the super rich. It's going to mean that ordinary families cannot afford to get homes for their kids. Ordinary families' kids will struggle to find a place to raise their families in. This is going to affect the economy. Check out the video What is Wealth to see what wealth means and how inequality of wealth affects the economy. We're going to do another video soon explaining really clearly exactly how inequality of wealth damages the economy. But more importantly, understand the situation. You're being taxed, the rich are not being taxed. The rich having their assets protected, you're not having your assets protected. Ordinary families are struggling to get properties for their kids. Ordinary workers are struggling to buy homes. And the super rich have had their biggest ever single year increase in wealth. So yeah, we're going to talk about how we can fight this in upcoming videos. But yeah, let your friends know what is happening, because it's important here. Wealth is being lost by ordinary families, and it's been accumulated by the rich, which includes a lot of members of our government. Yeah, that's all. So it's intentionally designed, national insurance, so that very rich people pay a very low percent. There is one other thing they can do with that massive amount of income. They can buy your mum's house.